يقول راجي عفو رب سامعي محمد بن الجزري الشافعي: الحمد لله وصلى الله على نبيه ومصطفاه محمد وآله وصحبه ومقرئ القرآن مع محبه. وبعد إن هذه مقدمة فيما على قارئه أن يعلمه، إذ واجب عليهم محتم قبل الشروع أولا أن يعلموا مخارج الحروف والصفات ليلفظوا بأفصح اللغات، محرر التجويد والمواقف وما الذي رسم في المصاحف.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد رسول رب العالمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Move يا شيخ, move, let me see you. ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. Oh Allah, teach us what benefit us. Increase us in knowledge, in good morals and in good deeds, Ya Arham Ar-Rahim. We continue by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings in explaining Al-Jazariyya by Imam Ibn Al-Jazari, who was born in 751 after the migration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and passed away 833. One of the greatest, not of the greatest, the greatest qari and reciter and teacher of the Quran recitation over history, with the exclusion of Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, of course. And his manzuma al-muqaddima, or the introduction, which is Al-Jazariyya, which is known as Al-Jazariyya or manzumat al-muqaddima, is the most famous poem in the recitation of Hafs and in the other recitations, but basically in the details it focuses on the narration of Hafs. Before we get into that, very quick reminder and advice for all of you that I told Sheikh Zahir to share with you, and I'm sure he did, to read to Sheikh Ihsan for the boys and for the sisters to read to the other teacher. And most of the boys did not, and some of the girls did not sometimes. So my advice for you, never ever ever lose such a chance. Sheikh Ihsan, or anyone who has such a great and high ijaza, not only high, the highest ijaza in the whole world, because he read to the same Sheikh I read to. So, and he's a great teacher. So, and you're doing it online. So you should not have missed such a chance. You would have benefited a lot. And never ever think that your recitation is perfect. Whenever you have a chance to read to any person who is higher than you, make use of that chance. Even me, believe me, I don't need to swear, and I shouldn't swear, because we shouldn't swear unless we really need to, because we always should speak the truth. I like to read to him, and I like to read anyone that I think he's great, he's good. I like to read to him so that I always check my recitation, because sometimes when you don't read to someone for a long time, you start feeling some changes in your recitation. So you always need to check. Whenever you have a chance with someone, read a little bit. So this is my advice for all of you. Never lose such a chance next time. And all of you will read to Sheikh Ihsan sooner or later, because I want him to give me his opinion. And some of you already read to him. And don't say, online doesn't work. Yeah, I know online doesn't work, but we're not depending completely online. This is just a short period of time. And I know and I observe that how Sheikh Ihsan catches the mistakes online. And he's here every day in our school, and I see. And the students rotate to him every 4 weeks or 3 weeks, so I can see how he catches the mistakes. I hear him, he just sits here. The laptop is just here next to me. So we don't depend solely online. Yeah, it's not good to depend only online, but for a short period of time and to get an opinion, and is much better than nothing, and is much better than some on-site teachers who are unqualified. That's my advice for you, so take heed, inshallah. The section we are at is the third section of Al-Jazariyya. So those who did not take the test of the first section or the second, check your folder, your binder, and see if you have not taken the test of the first section. Start watching the videos of the first section and take the notes and get ready. Tell me I'm ready, I'll give you the test. Because after you finish, now we have 2 students, they're almost there, almost ready to finish the last khatma. Then they will finish the program, and then they will just read 1 khatma to me, 1 free khatma, or the khatma of the ijaza, that we call it the khatma of the ijaza. And all those readings before it is just preparation and to be ready. So once you finish, even if you have perfect tajweed and perfect hafظ, I cannot give you the ijaza unless you know Al-Jazariyya. And this is the condition Sheikh Ayman Suwaid mentions clearly in some of his videos. And this is the condition that I told you like 5-6 years ago. And I cannot change it because it's an amana and a responsibility. But I do want you to finish as soon as possible. So when you finish, you have to show me test of this first section. I have to see it. So keep it in your binder. If you passed, keep it there. I have to see it maybe after 1 year, 2 years. I have to see it. If you lose it, you have to retake it. Okay? If you lose the test, you have to retake it. I'm serious. Okay? I'm Syrian also. So that is very important. Start preparing. We are still in the beginning, but we covered the main parts. Makharij and sifat are the main parts. 2 more classes or 1 more class, sifat is over. So we have covered makharij and sifat. This is the foundation of tajweed and the foundation of the correct Arabic speech. Correct classical Arabic speech is also based on makharij and sifat. We are on Al-Jazariyya 39. Al-Jazariyya 39 and verse 24. We're going to go right away. I'm not going to read it again. We're going to go right away to the verse 24. So last thing we talked about Safir. So we just started the second group of sifat. Sifat al-huruf, 2 groups. Or before that, let me also remind you of a very important question that I will ask you in the test, inshallah. And it is very important for the teachers, and almost all of you are teachers in our programs, alhamdulillah. Please pay attention to this question. The question is, what are the main things, okay, what are the main things we have to focus on in regard with, in order to pronounce a letter correctly? What are the main things we have to focus on to pronounce a letter correctly? I told you some of the sifat are not really practical or don't have really practical application in your recitation, or they don't need that attention. But there are some sifat you have to. So who can remind us to pronounce a letter correctly? What are the things you have to focus on? What are they? Number 1 is what? The makhraj of the letter. So when the student is reading or you're reading, you have to focus on the makhraj. So if it is, for example, al-ladhina, and the student is saying al-lazina, it's very clear. You should catch it right away. So and correct it very easily. You tell him it's not al-lazina. Tell him just press or place your tongue, the tip of your tongue at your teeth, or bite on the tip of your tongue, right? Alladhi, the. he's saying lazi, tell him, you should press on the tip of your tongue like this. The, lazi. Just very simple example. So makhraj is the first thing. Number two, some of the basic sifat. What are the basic sifat that we have to focus on when we pronounce any letter or when someone is reading in front of us? Number one, what is it? Is this letter or heavy or light? Is the letter heavy or light? That's the very obvious. Like when someone says قال الله or Allahu a'lam, Allah, right? It's like awkward, right? Right away you catch it. So you have to focus. Is this letter heavy or light? And you know the heavy letters. خص ضغط القذ, always heavy, and the ra in 8 cases, and the lam in 2 words only, and only in which are Allah and Allahumma, and only if they are preceded by fatha or dhamma. That's the rules for heaviness and lightness. Third thing, so first thing is the makhraj. Second thing is heaviness or lightness. Then what?
Hams or jahr.
Hams or jahr. Why hams or jahr? Because if you say إذا الشمس كورت وإذا النجوم كدرت, if you really study tajweed, you have to catch it right away that he's cutting the ta. So you need to let the breath go with the ta. So all the letters are either mahmus or majhur. If the letter is not mahmus, it has to be majhur, and vice versa. Right? So this is the second practical sifa you have to focus on. Finally,
Shadid, rikhu.
well, if you know shadid and rikhu, yeah, shadid and rikhu.
Qalqala.
Yeah, exactly. Shadid and rikhu. When should it end? Originally
2:45.
2:45, right? Maximum 3, inshallah. Maximum. So the third one, you're right. Shadid, shidda or rakhawa. But to make it easier for yourself and for students,
Qalqala.
just let's focus on the qalqala letters. Because if the letter is shadid, then we have to get rid of the shidda by qalqala or by hams. We already covered the hams, so what is left is qalqala. So let's just say qalqala. Qutbu jad, and that is today's lesson. Qutbu jad. Qalqala is today's lesson. So these are the 4 things, brothers and sisters. You have just really focus on when you're reading and when the other students are reading. Of course, we have the dad. When you have the dad, you have to give it its istitala. Okay, you know the dad needs an attention or extra attention. But all the letters in general, these are the 4 things. Makhraj, heavy or light, mahmus or majhur, does have qalqala or no? It has qalqala or no? These are the 4 main things you need to focus on when someone is listening to you or you're reading. Of course, the other things you also have to pay attention to them, but not as much as you do with these sifat. Now, we said every letter in the Arabic language must have some sifat. We said the sifat are 2 groups. Sifat that have opposites and sifat that don't have opposites. The sifat that have opposites, we covered them. Hams, and the opposite is
Jahr.
jahr. Shidda, and the opposite is rakhawa. And between them is bayniya. Itbaq, and the opposite is infitah. Right, close. Itbaq, infitah. What else? Isti'la, and the opposite is istifal. These are how many? 9. These are the sifat that have opposite. Means what? If the letter is not mahmus, it must be majhur. If the letter is shadid, it's not rikhu, etc. Now we have how many sifat left in the Arabic language? 8. So remember, the number of the makharij is just like the number of sifat. How many makharij? مخارج الحروف 17 على الذي يختاره من يختبر 17. And how many sifat? 17. The ones that have opposites are 9, or all of them in total 9 in the first group. How much is left?
8.
8. Imam Ibn Jazari summarized them in few lines. he said صفيرها صاد وزاي سين. That's what we covered in the last class. صفير, whistling. صفيرها صاد وزاي سين. قلقلة قطب جد واللين. قلقلة, لين. واو وياء سكنا وانفتح قبلهما والانحراف, انحراف. صحح في اللام والراء وبتكرير, التكرير جعل. وللتفشي, تفشي الشين. ضادا استطل, استطالة for the ضاد. How many? 7. And غنة is 8. So these are the 8 صفات that do not have opposites. So if a letter has قلقلة, خلاص, it doesn't mean the other letters have something called no قلقلة. They don't have قلقلة, but they don't have like a specific صفة that has a name or that has a certain quality. The letters of قلقلة are قطب جد. The other letters don't have قلقلة. Now, last thing we talked about صفير. So now we move to verse 24, or we are still in verse 24. So let's see the verse 24. صفيرها صاد وزاي سين. All of you can see clearly? صفيرها صاد وزاي سين. قلقلة قطب جد واللين. The first half we're done with it, right? Now قلقلة means another صفة is قلقلة. قلقلة. قطب جد. قطب جد. These are the قلقلة letters. Some Imam Ibn Al-Jazari rahimahullah, he put all of them in these two words. قطب جد. واللين means and the lean. So this word واللين is connected with what? With the following verse, right? With the following verse. So here there are no like difficult words in this verse. قلقلة, we all know قلقلة, and قطب جد are two words in which Imam Ibn Al-Jazari rahimahullah collected or combined the qalqala letters. Let's start with qalqala itself. What is qalqala? In the Islamic sciences, or in the Islamic knowledge, let's say, always the scholars, they mention the definition in the Arabic language, or the meaning of the word in the Arabic language. Then they give the definition in the Islamic terminology. Well, is there a difference? Sometimes. So sometimes, even now in our daily life, in the non-religious sciences, let's say, there are some terms that are common in the language, but in a certain specialty or specialization, they mean a different thing. Okay? I don't have now an example in my mind about that. So same thing in the Arabic language. In the Arabic language, let's say salah. So when the scholars, they want to talk about salah, for example, first thing they tell you, in Arabic it means, or they say lughatan. Okay, it's good to learn these things, especially, inshallah, if you're planning, and this is what you should be planning, what I advise you to be planning. If you're planning to really understand the Quran and move on to learn more Islamic knowledge, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you with the foundation, now you have the foundation. Foundation is memorizing the Quran. Any scholar, any imam, any khatib has to start with memorizing the Holy Quran. Any true seeker of knowledge. And one of our disasters is now you see so many speakers and khatibs and imams, they don't even know how to read the Quran correctly, or they don't even know the whole Quran. You can give a reminder, you can give a short talk, it's okay, but to be like a teacher or someone who always teaches the Muslims and you don't know the whole Quran, that was not something common at all among Muslims. And because of that, we have so many disasters and ignorance and a lot of problems when you find someone, he reads an ayah and right away he makes a conclusion and he doesn't know that there's another ayah that explains that ayah or that specifies that ayah, etc., etc. So we have to be very careful, and we have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He blessed us with the foundation, which is memorizing the Quran. Now, if you want just to be satisfied with that, it's up to you. But you shouldn't. You shouldn't only be satisfied with that. So in the Islamic sciences, they always, when they want to define any term, first they tell you, lughatan, it means this, then they say istilahan, it means this. So for example, as-salah. They say as-salah. They say lughatan hiya du'a. They say salah in the Arabic language, it means du'a. That is salah in the Arabic language. And one of the examples, Surah At-Tawbah, خذ من أموالهم صدقة تطهرهم وتزكيهم بها وصل عليهم. Does it make salah on them, salat janazah? No. When they come to you and give you charity, Allah is telling the Prophet ﷺ, when they come to you and give you the charity, what do?
Dua.
صل عليهم means what? Pray for them. Tamam? And when we say Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, means what? Means, oh Allah, so we're praying for the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Oh Allah, raise his position more and more. Exalt his mention more and more. Shower him with more blessings. Okay, that is an example. Now, istilahan means in the terminology of this science that we're talking about. For example, in fiqh, jurisprudence, the salah, they say af'alun makhsusa. They say salah is specific actions or movements that start with takbir and that ends with taslim and etc., etc. You understand? See the difference between salah in the language and salah in the fiqh terminology? Same thing. Now, come back. Qalqala, in the language, and this is what all of the great Muslim scholars, when they explain anything, this is what they do. Because the language is the foundation to understand the terms. And always, there must be a connection between the terminology and the language. So salah, yes, it is in the fiqh terminology, it is certain movements, etc. But at the same time, it includes dua, right? You say ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, and you make dua in your sujood, and you make dua qunut, etc., etc. Yalla, let's come back. Al-Qalqala, in English it's bouncing. That's the best word to translate Al-Qalqala. In Arabic, Al-Qalqala is Al-Harakatu al-Idtirabiyya. Al-Qalqala means something is like shaking. Shaking in its place. For example, the Arabs, they say تقلقلت القدر. What do they say? تقلقلت القدر. See this example here on the screen. See this example. This is qalqala. They say تقلقلت القدر. This pot of water is, this movement of this pot is what? Is qalqala. See? Is it moving from its place or moving in its place? Look at it. Okay? You should not forget this example. Okay? That's in the language. Same thing. Same thing. And from here you can get the first mistake that some people make when they're doing the qalqala. What is it? They don't keep the qalqala in the same place of the letter, in the makhraj. No, they make some movement, and that movement makes a problem, makes a change in the qalqala. So you would hear someone saying, خلقنا khalaqa, And instead of saying خلقنا, you'll hear someone saying أحد, making it close to kasra. فدعوهم فدعوه. And I'll show you now. I'll show you how bad the meaning will become in some words if you just make this little change. So that is qalqala. Qalqala is the movement of something in its place. Now let's come to the terminology, to the tajweed terminology. Qalqala in the tajweed terminology, what is it? What's the definition? It's pronouncing the qalqala sakin letter by disconnecting the involved organs of speech without accompanying that with any haraka or even a part of a haraka. Clear? Pronouncing the qalqala sakin letter by disconnecting the involved organs of speech. So qalqala is what? Disconnecting the organs of speech that are involved in pronouncing a certain letter. And it's rapid, if you like, by rapidly disconnecting, if you like to be rapidly, rápido in Espanol. Rápido, right? If you want to say Islam is this is one of the sentences I learned there when I talked to non-Muslims there. Islam is la religión de más rápido crecimiento del mundo. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world. So they see us like only 3 people praying every day in the hallway when there's like in the pod when there's like 100 people and we are only 3. So I tell them, don't think like we're little, but we in the world we're the La religión más grande del mundo, the biggest religion in the world. But here, because you know most of you are from here, Mexico and El Salvador and Honduras and these countries, so this is why. But if you go maybe to Jordan, you will find the vast majority are Muslims. So alhamdulillah. So rapidly disconnecting the involved organs of speech without accompanying that with any haraka. Or is it clear? Just disconnecting the organs of speech. If you do the ba, ab, you're gonna make the qalqala for the ba, b. What did I do? Just disconnecting the organs of speech involved in pronouncing a letter. B. That's it. Without accompanying that with any haraka. Not ba. No, b. Not b. 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 Just in its place. Okay? And the qalqala letters, the letters in which or to which we apply this thing are what? They are what? Qutbujal. Now subhanallah, look, I looked up the meaning of qalqala in English, in the English dictionary, the meaning of bouncing. It's exactly the same thing. Look these two definitions, how nice. Look how nice. Move it quickly up, back or away from a surface after hitting it. See? Move it quickly up or back or away from a surface after hitting it. That's the qalqala. Exactly, that's what qalqala is. Bouncing, right? Quickly from the surface after hitting it. But look, the other definition, oh my God, look, this is amazing definition for qalqala from an English dictionary. Look what they say. Move up and down while remaining essentially in the same position. In the same position you remain. You bounce it in the same position. When you bounce the ball, it comes in the same position. Right? These words that I underline, these are essential. That you remain in the same position. You don't move back or forth. Ba, no, b, ib, aql, ij, id, atl. That is qalqala, bouncing. Now we notice that these 5 letters are majhura. Qutb Jad, all of them are majhura, right? Majhura or shadida.
شديد.
There's no relation between majhura and shadida. Majhura is the opposite of mahmusa. So majhura means no breath with it, right?
Yeah.
And also these letters are shadid or rikhu.
شديد.
Shadid. Shadid means the sound is cut off. See, ad. Because they are shadid, the Arabs naturally get rid of that shidda by releasing or bouncing those letters. Tamam? And that's another question I will definitely ask you. Why we apply qalqala to the shadid letters? Why? Because it's very simple, right? Why? Because the Arabs naturally, they bounce those letters because their sound is cut off. They are shadid. Shadid means what? Their sound is cut off. So they get rid of this shidda or this difficulty by just bouncing it. It's very difficult to say وَمَن يَقْتُلْ, but it's easy to say يَقْتُلْ. It's difficult to say وَمَن يَبْتَغِي. See? Naturally, even though the Arabs, when they went far from the classical Arabic, they abandoned or they quit applying qalqala in their daily speech. And this is why when they recite the Quran sometimes they make mistakes. So they have to learn, everyone, the Arabs and non-Arabs, everyone, all of us, we have to, as Sheikh Ayman Suwaid, may Allah reward him, always says, we have to abandon our dialects and accents when we recite the Quran and commit to the way we receive the Quran from the qualified and certified teachers who are connected to the best of teachers, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who receive the Quran from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through angel Gabriel. Okay. Their sounds doesn't flow. This is why the Arabs naturally make qalqala for these letters when they have sukoon, to make it easy to pronounce. Is that clear? Okay. Now, as we mentioned, let's continue with this picture, with this video. Then we'll go to the file. Let's see, for example, the qaf, brothers. Look at the qaf. Look at this video. See the qaf, please. See how the qalqala is. We're just disconnecting. See, we're just disconnecting the back part of the tongue. Is just disconnecting it. That's the qalqala. See, disconnection. Look at the ba. Look at the 2 lips. Look, only the 2 lips are moving, not the whole jaw. And now you will see the difference when we talk about the ba with fatha. Look at the jeen, the middle part of the tongue, just touching rapidly. See, rapidly touching and move and separating. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, be a tajweed expert. So when you make the qalqala, you should not make any movement that has no relation to the qalqala movement. Why? Let me ask you. If you move your lower jaw, you say jaw or jaw? Jaw. Jazakallah khair. You move your lower jaw. If you move your lower jaw down when you make the qalqala, for example, you say khalaqana, خلقنا.
You give a fatha.
You're generating a fatha. And this particular example is very bad if you make this mistake, because خلقنا means we created, but if you say خلقنا means he created us. So big mistake. See, just little change, it might make or change the meaning upside down. So you have to be careful. خلق, that's it. خلقنا, not خلقنا. So you don't move your lower jaw with the qalqala, because that will produce a fatha or a part of a fatha. And if you raise the middle part of your tongue, when you're applying the qalqala. For example, let me get an example in the middle of the word that is common among some people. For example, they say يدخل. What do you hear? You hear a part of a kasra, right? And you know the disaster? The disaster is that some teachers, they teach it this way. That is a disaster in the recitation. That they teach it this way, that you have, that the right way of qalqala is to make it closer to the kasra. And some of them they say closer to the fatha, and some of them they say they invented a rule from their minds. They say, no, closest to the haraka of the letter before the qalqala letter. Oh my God. And if you go to the authentic, reliable references of tajweed, of the correct recitation of the Holy Quran, you will find nothing of what they're claiming. So that is something that is unacceptable. You don't raise your middle part of the tongue, because that will generate a kasra or a part of a kasra. And you don't round your lips, because that will produce what? That will produce a dhamma. So qalqala is bouncing without involvement of other organs of speech. This is the exact definition of bouncing in the English dictionaries as mentioned earlier. Any questions so far? Is it clear? I mentioned this many times before, and inshallah this is the last time. Maybe we will repeat when we need more. Let's now go to the video and some more explanation. This chart, as you can see in the screen, shows the differences between a sakin letter and muqalqal letter and mutaharrik letter, just to show some people who don't understand why that is a mistake, or who don't understand the difference. We can explain to them through this chart. The first column here is how this letter comes out, and here, what is that letter accompanied with? What is that letter accompanied with? Let's start with the second letter. How does this second letter come out? We mentioned this maybe in the first class of makharij. A second letter, how does it come out? Ab, as, at. Generally speaking, the second letter comes how? By tasadum or taba'ud. Connection between the two organs of speech, or disconnection? Huh? Connection. Ab, as, at. Connection between two organs of speech, right? Means what? Tasadum. So they call this what? Tasadum. Now, is this second letter accompanied? Is this tasadum, this connection between the organs of speech, is it accompanied by anything, any movement when it is second? Any movement of the lips or the tongue or the other than the organs of speech that are involved in pronouncing the letter? Is the second letter accompanied with anything? No, because it's second. Because it is second. So as you can see, how does it come out? By tasadum, connection. Now, what is accompanied with? Nothing, la shay, nada, right? Nada in Spanish, nothing. Now, what about the muqalqal letter? Yalla guys, quickly before it appears. Quick. Huh?
Bouncing.
Means what? Taba'ud, right? Disconnection. Taba'ud, correct? Taba'ud. It's very simple, very easy. Just Sheikh Ayman makes to make things even like crystal clear. So muqalqal is by taba'ud. Now, what is it accompanied with? What is it accompanied with?
Nada.
Nothing, right? Nothing. Qalqala, same thing. Nothing. Now the mutaharrik letters. How is the mutaharrik letter comes out? Ba, ta, sa. تصادم or تباعد? تباعد. Right? تباعد. Now, what is it accompanied with? Who can answer this question? It's not difficult. What is the متحرك letter accompanied with? It just needs some smartness, not a lot.
Lips. Oh wait, no. I don't know.
It depends on the haraka.
Oh yeah.
If it is a fatha, then it will be accompanied with opening lowering the lower jaw. If it is the haraka is a dhamma, you're gonna round your lips. If the haraka is a kasra, you're gonna raise the middle part of your tongue. Correct? So taba'ud with the movements that suit that haraka. That is the mutaharrik letter. This chart, we explained this when we talked about makharij, but now the new thing is the qalqala. But we explained in those classes, or in that class, how is the second letter is produced and how is the mutaharrik letter is produced. So you see here what he said. He said a haraka, movement. So what is that haraka? Is it haraka of the tongue or the lips or what? Or the jaw? It depends on that haraka. And we explained that before in details. Any questions so far? Okay. Now, do we have anything else here? Okay, that's it. Now let's go to see also in video some of the nice videos how also the differences, not this one, the differences between what did we name it? قلقلة ساكن متحرك. Okay, look here please. يلا. Look here, look at the ba. Tell me what ba is this. Look at the picture, focus and tell me. What ba is that? Is that a ba with a qalqala or sukun or with a haraka? Look. What haraka is that? Fatha. See? Ba mutaharrika maftuha. By distancing the lips from each other. And basically lowering the lower jaw, right? Look now at the difference. Look now at the difference between this ba, which is mutaharrika with fatha. If it is mutaharrika with dhamma, you would see the same thing, but the lips will be rounded instead. But this is easier. This is easier to show in a video than the one with dhamma. Now, yalla ya akhi. Move. Okay. Next one, Bismillah, is a ba with sukoon. Okay, who can tell me this ba sakina without a qalqala or with a qalqala? Look what's going on. See, very nice, very professional. Just the lips. Just the lips. Look, not the whole jaw is moving. Look, only the lips. Look, this is exactly what qalqala is. The jaw, the lower jaw is not moving. Only the lips. Look. See, that's the sak ba with sukoon and obviously with a qalqala. You see it? Very professional and nice video that shows you. So don't move your lower jaw down when you do the qalqala. Just bounce it in its same place. What is left? Now let's see who can guess what ba is this? Who can guess? Who can guess what ba is this? Sakina without qalqala. But can we have ba sakina without qalqala? I will show you. Look. وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ. When we have idgham, When we have idgham, we're not going to say وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ. No, you have to keep the idgham. So in the idgham, which is basically ba with shadda, or any qalqala letter with a shadda, you're going to have the first letter sakin without a qalqala. For example, see al-haqq, al-haqq, that's without a qalqala. Haqq, then the second qaf has a qalqala. Or here, yaktub baynakum, tamam? So basically, this is what you find. This is the first part of the mushaddad qalqala letter. See how it is done? Okay. So this is ba sakina غير مقلقلة, ba with sukoon without a qalqala. When do we have that? When we have idgham. When this ba is inserted into another ba, means it's silent and merged. It is merged when it is merged into another ba. Tamam? Is this clear? This shows the difference between all these three ba'at, and this shows you the difference between ba with sukoon, ba with qalqala, the ba that is mudghama, the ba that is mutaharrika, the ba that is mutaharrika. Okay, we've seen this. Okay, we'll stop here. We have some tanbihat, some notes, and we will wrap up qalqala inshallah next time. I don't want to make it more late for you. How many minutes is there in the video?
45.
45. Okay, khalas. So we will make it. We will not make 1 hour, then take 15 minutes for aqidah, for explaining al-kharida al-bahiyya. No, I will make 45 minutes inshallah for Al-Jazariyya, then 15 minutes for Al-Kharida, inshallah. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Any question about anything we mentioned today?